Good morning, everybody. As you all know, I am a biology teacher. My name is Deepna, PGT Biology at Navjyoti Senior Secondary School. So today I am here to begin our classes for this session, that is 2020-21. So the chapter I am going to take for you today is human reproduction. And children, we all know that what is reproduction. We have a basic knowledge on what is reproduction. Actually, reproduction is it is production of younger ones, which is similar to our own parents, right? So, reproduction, we are reproducing something. So, reproduction since production of younger ones or progenies, which are similar to the parents. Okay. Reproduction, we all have the basic knowledge. Reproduction is of two types. You can classify reproduction into two broader classes, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So we had already studied that asexual reproduction, it doesn't need any parental, that is partner parents, right? So a single cell or a single parent is more than enough to reproduce its younger ones or progenies. But in the case of sexual reproduction, we need two partners. That is, two partners are necessary. That is, partners of opposite sex are necessary. So why is it that partners of opposite sex are necessary? Because of gamete production. So we all would have already known about what are gametes and all that things right from our 10th and +1 and all that things. So gametes are nothing but the reproductive cells. Okay, gametes are nothing but reproductive cells. So there are male gamete and female gamete. Male gamete is there and female gamete is there. So what is the male gamete? It's nothing but the sperm, and the female gamete is nothing but ovum. And the female gamete, it is nothing but ovum. So we had already studied that right from our 8th standard. Sperm and ovum, they fuse together, they fertilize and they form a zygote, and it is from the zygote that a new progeny develops, that is a new child develops, right? The zygote is the first stage that we all begin our life. We all know all these basic things, right? Yes. So I'm putting it again, asexual reproduction, it doesn't need any partner parents, like two individuals, it is not necessary in asexual reproduction. But in sexual reproduction, two partners are necessary, two partners of opposite sex belonging to the same species are necessary. And why two partners of opposite sex are necessary? Because only the gametes can be derived, that is the male gamete and female gamete is much necessary in sexual reproduction. Only when we have a male gamete and a female gamete, what happens is there will be fertilization and there will be formation of embryo or zygote. So that is the thing, that is a basic of sexual reproduction. And so we will move on to, so now here we are going to study about sexual reproduction in human beings. So we will move on to that, sexual reproduction in human beings. You would have already studied, isn't it, that sexual reproduction in the sense that is gametes are necessary. So the male gamete, as I told you now, it is sperm. The male gamete is sperm. And the female gamete is ovum. Okay, male gamete is sperm and the female gamete is ovum. Right? So the sperm and the ovum, they fuse together and they form zygote. This is what we studied. So from where does the sperm and this ovum, they originate, right? So there has to be a system. There has to be a system, obviously. There has to be a system for all these things to be produced, stored and all that things, right? Until there is a fertilization between the sperm and the ovum, it has to come up. Until it comes up, it has to be there in a particular system. Like we have so many physiological systems in our body, digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system and all that. In the same way, for reproduction also, there is a reproductive system in both male and female. So first we will look into the male reproductive system. So first we'll go for the reproductive organs. That is, the first one will be male reproductive organ. The first one that we are going to discuss will be male reproductive organ. So I said you now that sperm is the male gamete, and it is produced and it is stored in an organ called testis. And this testis is a plural form, and the singular form of testis is testis, right? This is the singular form and this is the plural form. Okay, so testis, it indicates a pair of testes, okay, two testes, right? Yes. So the first one will be, a testis. It is a round muscular sac-like structure, and the testis, they carry the sperm in it. That is the male gamete. Sperm is produced and it is stored in the male reproductive structure, the most important structure in the male reproductive system, called the testis. And then comes the epididymis. Epididymis is nothing but the extension of, it is a duct-like structure that is extending from the testis. Epididymis. So epididymis, it is the extension of a male testis. It is a duct-like structure, and from this epididymis another duct, proper duct, it will arise. That duct is known as the vas deferens. So we can divide this, the proper duct in many other ways also, vas erecta, vas deferens and everything. But here we are not going to deal with all that things. We just need, we are only going to see about the vas deferens, right? So vas deferens is the proper duct that arises from the epididymis, and from vas deferens it goes and it connects at a junction known as urethra. The vas deferens, it goes, the duct vas deferens, it goes and meets at a junction called urethra, and this urethra, it extends into the penis. That is a muscular sac-like organ called penis, and it extends to the penis. And actually, from where is this urethra extending? From where is this urethra extending? It is extending from the urinary bladder. The urethra is extending from the urinary bladder. The urethra is extending from the urinary bladder, right? So what we have to remember here is testis is the organ in male reproductive system that produces the sperm, that stores the sperm, and duct is arising from, a duct-like structure is arising from the testis, that is the epididymis, and from the epididymis another proper duct is arising, that is the vas deferens, and the vas deferens, it extends into that is, it meets at a junction of it called as urethra. The urethra is extending from the urinary bladder and it extends into the penis, that is the muscular sac-like structure. So what the other thing we have to remember is the testis by itself, it is not an inbuilt organ in male reproductive system. It is an extra abdominal organ. So the term extra abdominal. What is the meaning of extra abdominal? Extra abdominal means it is placed outside the abdomen region. It is placed outside the abdomen region. We all know which is the abdomen region, right? Our small intestine and large intestine, that region, they make up the abdominal region. So the testis is extra abdominal. What does it mean? In female reproductive system, all the reproductive organs are inbuilt. But in male, it is extra abdominal. That is, it is placed, it is an extension of the abdomen of a male body, right? The abdomen is extended and a small sac-like structure. That is, the sac-like structure is called as scrotum sac. The sac-like structure is called scrotum sac, and inside the scrotum sac or that pouch, the testis is placed. The testis is placed inside that scrotum sac or pouch, right? So why is it so? Why is it that like in female, why can't this testis be placed inside the male reproductive system? Why can't it be an inbuilt system? The reason is The scrotum sac, the scrotum sac is the pouch that carries the testis, and testis in turn carries sperm. And we all know sperm is proteinaceous in nature. They are made up of DNA and nucleic acids and all that things, right? So what happens is, even if there is a slight variation in the temperature of the male, inbuilt temperature, if there is a slight variation, there is a slight increase also, there are chances, and there are probably chances, obviously the sperms will get destroyed. The protein structure will be denatured, and that is the reason why the scrotum sac is placed outside, or it is known as extra abdominal, and the testis is placed inside the scrotum sac, and the testis, it carries the sperm, right? So again I am putting it for you, the reproductive systems, right? The reproductive organs in the reproductive system of a male, it comprises of scrotum sac. Inside the scrotum sac there is testis. The testis carry the sperm, and there is an extension of the testis or a duct-like structure called epididymis, which immediately takes up the sperm while it is being ejaculated, and there is a proper extension duct called vas deferens, which carries the sperm from the testis to the penis for ejaculation, right? So vas deferens, and this vas deferens, it meets the urethra at a junction, and from that junction the urethra, it continues it as proper urethra itself. Okay, after the meeting of the urethra and the vas deferens, there is no vas deferens. Then the extended point, we will call it as urethra itself. Okay, so the end of the penis, it is known as a foreskin. The end of the penis is known as the foreskin, and the outlet, that is the outlet or the opening of the urethra, is known as urethral meatus. Okay, the opening of the urethra is known as urethral meatus. So what is the importance of urethral meatus or this urethra? In male, there is only one opening for reproduction and for passing of urine. The urine, when it comes from urinary bladder, when it is released, that too it is released through the urethral meatus, that is the opening. And in even the sperm, when it is released, okay, when the sperm, when it is released or ejaculated, even at that time it is released through this urethral meatus only. So that is the important and characteristics of male reproductive system. That is why we call this male reproductive system as urinogenital tract. We call it as urinogenital tract. So why we call it as urinogenital tract? Because for passage of urine and for the release of sperm, that is the gamete, okay, the gametes, the release of gametes and passing of urine, they have only one tract. So that is why it is called as urinogenital tract. Male reproductive tract is called as urinogenital tract. Okay. So the next thing, okay, the organs are over here. So the next thing we are going to see is the glands that are associated with this male reproductive system. So what are the glands that are associated? We'll see that, okay. So we have three glands. So what are the glands? Actually, they are nothing but, they are also called as, they are actually called as accessory glands. Why are these glands associated with the reproductive system called as accessory glands? Because they provide accession, that is, they aid the male reproductive system in the release of sperm and its entry into the female tract and all that thing. So we will see that how, right? So there are three glands that are associated with male reproductive system, and those glands are called as accessory glands. Those glands are called as accessory glands. So what are the accessory glands related to male reproductive system? So these are the glands, right? So the first one is prostrate gland. The next one is seminal vesicle. And the next one is bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland, or it is also called as Cowper's gland. It is also called as Cowper's gland. Okay? Yes. So this bulbourethral gland, it is also called as Cowper's gland. So what are its functions? Actually, the prostrate gland, it secretes a milky white fluid. It secretes a milky white fluid, a liquid or a secretion that is ejaculated from, that is released from the prostrate gland. So the prostrate gland, it is present on the way where the vas deferens, it meets the urethra that is extending from the urinary bladder. So the prostrate gland, this is the first gland that we are going to see, right? So the prostrate gland, it secretes a white, milky white secretion. And what is the importance of this milky white secretion? It aids the sperm. When the sperm is released from this testis and when it is taken along the vas deferens, the milky white secretion from this prostrate gland, it mixes with the sperm and it makes the motion of the sperm or the motility of the sperm easier. So it causes motility of the sperm easier. It aids in the motility of the sperm, right? Yes, so that is the function of prostrate gland. So next we will see what is the function of seminal vesicles. So what is the function of seminal? It is another gland present here, right? It's on the juncture or on the way of the vas deferens, right? So the second gland is seminal vesicle. So what is the function of seminal vesicle? It secretes a viscous type of liquid. It secretes a viscous type of secretion. It secretes a viscous type of secretion. And what is the importance of this viscous type of secretion? When the sperm, it enters the female genital tract, when it passes through the uterus and it reaches the fallopian tube of the female reproductive tract, what happens is this viscous secretion, it helps in the easy motility or easy movement of the sperm throughout the female genital tract. So that is the important. The milky white secretion of prostrate gland, it only helps in motility of the sperm to move forward. But the seminal vesicle, viscous secretion secreted by seminal vesicle, it helps in the the sperm to enter easily into the female genital tract, that is the uterus and the fallopian tube, right? So that is the importance of seminal vesicle. And bulbourethral gland, they also secrete a secretion. And what this secretion, see, basically all these three, they help in motility of the sperm. That is the first and foremost importance of these secretions of these three glands. Okay, that is why they are called as accessory glands, or those glands that aid in the motility of the sperm. So Cowper's gland also, they secrete a secretion that helps in, again, motility of sperm only, right? Motility of sperm. But what happens actually here is, this the secretion from this Cowper's gland, it will be more fluidy. The secretion for Cowper's gland, it will be more fluidy, and the sperm will find it easy to swim along the female tract. When the blood rushes to the blood vessels present in the muscles of the penis will get erected and it will become tightened. So because of that tightening, the sperms will rush out, and the sperms, what happens is, it will mix along with all the fluids secreted by the accessory glands, that is the prostrate gland, bulbourethral gland and seminal vesicle, and all the secretions, it will mix along with the sperms and it will be ejaculated out with force. This is what happens actually. So the sperm alone will not be ejaculated, it will be ejaculated along with the secretions from all these three glands. So the secretions of these three glands along with the sperm is called as semen, right? So semen is nothing but secretions of the three glands, secretions of the three glands plus the sperm. Okay, so this is what is the content of the semen, and this is what is ejaculated out. And what we have to remember here is, as we have seen the accessory glands, in the same way there are accessory ducts also, like accessory sex ducts, or ducts that help in the carrying out and transfer and ejaculation, etc. of the sperm. Okay, so what are these ducts? They are nothing but reed testis, then vasa efferentia, epididymis and vas difference. So we studied and we checked, okay, we discussed in detail about epididymis and vasa difference, and the other one is reed testis and vasa efferentia. This reed testis and vasa efferentia, it is nothing but the extension of testis itself, that is they are not a proper duct, but they come out of the testis itself, like what we say that epididymis, right? So it is just an extension of this testis, it forms a duct like thing. In the same way, this vasa efferentia and this reed testis also, it is a part of the duct. The actual duct that carries a sperm is vas deferens. So this is what we have to remember here. And the last part of this male reproductive organ, what we have to remember, one thing is, there is the important part, right? So where the sperm is produced and all that things, we will see now. So the testis, we are going to see what are the contents of the testis, right? So testis, it is a densely covered organ, and we all very well know right from our smaller classes that testis is the organ that produces sperm and stores the sperm. And now we are going to see a little bit detail about the testis. The testis, it is a densely covered organ with 250 lobules or compartment in it. We know what is a compartment, right? They are small sections or pockets. So in the same way, 250 lobules or compartments are present inside each testis, and those compartments are called as testicular lobules. Okay, those 250 compartments, they are called as testicular lobules, and each testicular lobule or each compartment, one lobule is one compartment, right? So that is what we have to remember here. One compartment means one lobule, one pocket. Okay, so there are such 250 pockets or 250 compartments, or we can say 250 lobules in it, and each lobule, it will contain one to three or more. Okay, 1 to 3 or more. 1 to 3 or more of tubules coiled in it. Okay, so each lobule or each compartment, they comprise of 1 to 3 or more tubules or tubes. In simple term we can say as tubes, but it is technically called as tubules. Okay, so each compartment, they contain a highly coiled tubules called as seminiferous tubules. It is called as seminiferous tubules, right? And now this seminiferous tubules, what you have to remember is they are nothing but tubules, okay, tubes which are coiled and which are present nearly one or to 3 or more than 3. Okay, 3 tubules are coiled and they are placed inside each compartment. Okay, and what happens is this seminiferous tubules, okay, their inner lining, this inner lining of the, we will just think this is the tubule, right? So the inner lining of the seminiferous tubules, they are made up of 2 cells. Inner lining, it is made up of 2 cells. One cell is male germ cell. One type of cell is male germ cells, and the other type of cells are known as Sertoli cells. Okay, one is male germ cells and the other one is known as Sertoli cells. So we all know what is a germ cell, right? A germ cell is nothing but that is the real gamete, or gamete in the sense the sperms. So obviously the male germ cells, now at this stage, before it is being matured, it is called as spermatogonia. It is called as spermatogonia. So the seminiferous tubules, they consist of the seminiferous tubule. Each tubule, if you take, they are made up of 2 cell lining, and those cell lining, what are the 2 cell lining is? One is the male germ cell, it is also called as spermatogonia. We all very well know that germ cells are nothing but the gametic cells. Okay, so male germ cells known as spermatogonia, and the other one is Sertoli cells. Okay, Sertoli cells. So the male germ cells, they undergo meiotic division and they get converted to sperm. Okay, they undergo cell division and they get converted to sperms, that is matured sperms, and which is ready for fertilization. And what does the Sertoli cells do here? They provide nutrition to the male germ cells. This is the function of Sertoli cells. Okay. So I hope you understood this. So once again I am putting it to you. Testis, it is densely covered organ. It consists of 250 lobules a compartment, and each compartment they consist of one or two or more than three seminiferous tubules coiled in each compartment, and each tubule it is made up of two cell layers, and the cell layers are, one is male germ cells and the other one is Sertoli cells. So the male germ cells, what it does is, that is male germ cells, that is what it gets converted to sperms, matured sperms, which is needed in fertilization process, that is the whole reproduction process. And Sertoli cells, they provide nutrition to the male germ cells. So this is what is about the testis. And one more point what we have to remember here is, there will be interstitial spaces in between the seminiferous tubules. Okay. So I am just drawing it in an illustrious way. Okay. It is not an original diagram. I am just drawing it to you for you people to understand. So what happens here is, you just think, okay, this is one testis, oval shaped testis, and in that there are so many lobules or compartments in it, right? And these compartments, they contain one or two or three coiled seminiferous tubules. And if I take one tube, that is one seminiferous tubules, it is made up of male germ cell and the other one is Sertoli cell, right? Male germ cell and Sertoli cell. And we studied all these functions now, and so that's over. So the next one is, beyond this, see, there will be gap or space in between these tubules. There will be space or gap in between these tubules, and that space or the interstitial space, it is called as, the interstitial space, it is covered with Leydig cells. The interstitial space is covered with Leydig cells. So what is the function of this Leydig cell? This Leydig cells are important because they are the ones that secrete the male reproductive hormones, class of hormones called androgens. Okay. So Leydig cells are the cells which are present in between the interstitial spaces between the seminiferous tubules. They function, the Leydig cells function is to secrete the class of hormone, that is male reproductive hormone called androgen. Androgens are a class of hormones, right? So the testosterone, the male reproductive main hormone testosterone and all that things, it will come under this androgens, right? Yes. So what we are going to do now is, we are going to give a quick recap of what we studied until now, right? So first one is, I told you about what is reproduction. So reproduction is nothing but production of younger ones similar to the parents. So there are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, just a single partner is enough, a single parent is enough, and in sexual reproduction, two partners are necessary, two partners of opposite sex are necessary. Why it is so? Because we need two opposite gametic cells for fertilization. Only then ovum will, if ovum and sperm they fuse together only, we will get a zygote. Okay, and that zygote is what develops into a new individual. Okay, so in sexual reproduction, what the system involved in reproduction, the whole reproduction process, like every other physiological process, even sexual reproduction, it involves a reproductive system. So because we are studying about human reproduction in this chapter, so first we are going to see, we saw about male reproductive organ or male reproductive system. So in male reproductive system, we studied about testis, pair of testis, then the epididymis arising from the testis, and at the end of the epididymis, that is where the epididymis ends, the vas deferens begins, and the vas deferens is the duct that carries a sperm that is released from the testis to the urethra, and urethra is the extension of urinary bladder, and the vas deferens in urethra, they join at a point, and the urethra, it extends in the form of urethra itself. And because the male reproductive system, it carries the function of both, that is ejaculation of sperm as well as passing of urine, both it occurs through the same urethra. That is why male reproductive tract, it is called as urinogenital tract. Okay, so the opening of the urethra, it is called as urethral meatus, right? Yes, and this urethra, it extends into a muscular organ called as penis, which is necessary copulatory organ. Okay, so apart from these, there are 3 accessory glands and other ducts also. So the accessory glands are nothing but prostate gland, bulbourethral gland and seminal vesicle. These 3 glands, they secrete the secretions and they mix along with the sperm, and they help mainly these secretions, they help in the motility of the sperm, and that motility is necessary because the sperm, it has to reach until the fallopian tube of the female reproductive tract for fertilization purpose. So these secretions are very important, that is why they are called as accessory glands. And the secretions along with the sperm, it is ejaculated when the penis becomes erect, it is called as, the secretion is called as semen. Okay, this is what we studied in the male reproductive system, and I hope I was clear to you and you people understood it, and hope you will study it well. Okay.